Our history textbooks often provide us with a broad view of human events, highlighting prominent figures and significant happenings. Yet, within the vast canvas of the past, there are many intriguing, lesser-known facets that seldom find their way into conventional teaching. This video uncovers 20 such historical facts, inviting viewers into a world filled with uncanny circumstances, delightful surprises, and crucial yet overlooked insights. We'll delve into a variety of eras and regions, uncovering what typical classrooms might not teach, while ensuring our journey through history remains suitable for all audiences. Number 1. Little Ice Age's impact on European history. Often overshadowed by the focus on political turmoil and cultural revolutions, the Little Ice Age had profound implications on the lives and societies of Europe. Between approximately 1300 to 1850 AD, the average temperature across the northern hemisphere dipped significantly. This caused dramatic shifts in agricultural practices as traditional crops failed, leading to a surge in rye and barley cultivation. The scarcity of warm-weather grains like wheat instigated periods of famine, affecting social stability. Moreover, the cooling climate directly influenced art and literature of the era, inspiring creations that reflected the frosty landscape and the struggle for survival. Paintings from the period often showcase winter scenes, a stark contrast to the fertile landscapes seen in earlier works. Additionally, the frigid Thames River froze over multiple times, leading to the popular frost fairs held on the ice. Notably, the Little Ice Age also played a role in curtailing the Viking presence in Greenland, as the harsh climate made their agricultural lifestyle unsustainable. Number 2. Washington's troublesome teeth. George Washington, the first president of the United States, is typically portrayed with a stoic countenance, a perception that belies his years of oral health problems. Contrary to popular belief, Washington did not have wooden teeth. His dentures were constructed from a combination of materials, including gold, lead, ivory, and even teeth from humans and animals. Washington suffered from dental issues since his 20s, and by the time he took the presidential oath, he had only one natural tooth remaining. His dental problems led to considerable discomfort and even altered the shape of his face. It is believed that the discomfort might have influenced his relatively brief speeches. His inaugural address is still the shortest in U.S. history. His dental issues also affected his personal life and political image. He often preferred to remain silent in public gatherings, earning him a reputation for being aloof. These historical anecdotes about Washington remind us that even great figures wrestle with mundane yet essential aspects of human health. Number 3. The Great Emu War of Australia. If you think wars are only fought among humans, you might be surprised by an unusual conflict that occurred in Australia in the 1930s, often referred to as the Great Emu War. After World War I, Australia was facing an agricultural crisis, compounded by an unexpected foe: emus. These large, flightless birds migrated inland each breeding season, and they found the newly cultivated lands of Western Australian farmers particularly enticing, leading to significant crop damage. Frustrated by the escalating situation, the farmers, many of whom were ex-soldiers, appealed to the Australian government for assistance. In response, the government sent a small military force armed with machine guns in an attempt to cull the emu population. However, the resilient and fast-moving emus proved a challenging adversary. Public backlash over the treatment of the birds and the military's lack of success resulted in the operation being withdrawn. Eventually, the government opted for a bounty system to manage the emu population, which proved more effective. This quirky episode in Australian history underscores the unforeseen challenges of agricultural management and human-animal conflict. Number 4. The Dancing Plague of 1518. In July 1518, the city of Strasbourg, now part of France, was seized by a baffling phenomenon known as the Dancing Plague. It started with one woman, Frau Trophia, who began to dance fervently in the streets. For whatever reason, her solitary jig turned contagious, and within a month, as many as 400 citizens were consumed by this relentless urge to dance. This dancing mania lasted for days on end, with those afflicted collapsing from exhaustion, and in some severe cases even dying. Contemporary explanations ranged from divine judgment to overheated blood. Modern theories suggest mass hysteria or ergotism, a condition caused by consuming certain fungi-infected rye as potential causes. While the exact reason remains a mystery, the dancing plague of 1518 serves as a bizarre and fascinating example of social phenomena and human psychology. It underscores the critical role of context, be it biological, environmental, or socio-political, in shaping historical events and human behavior. Number 5. The not-so-glamorous life of pirates. Popular culture often paints a picture of pirates as swashbuckling, adventurous rogues sailing the high seas in search of treasure. The reality, however, was far less glamorous. While pirates did live outside societal norms, their lives were typically marked by hardship and short lifespans. Sailing on a pirate ship was a dangerous and dirty affair, with limited access to fresh food and clean water. Diseases like scurvy, resulting from vitamin C deficiency, were rampant. Furthermore, pirates were in constant risk of fatal injuries from battles, storms, or shipwrecks. Pirates practiced a form of democracy on board, where captains and quartermasters were elected by crew members. This was in stark contrast to the rigid hierarchy aboard naval and merchant vessels. Interestingly, pirate ships also provided insurance policies, offering compensation for injuries. Despite the romanticized images of treasure chests and exotic adventures, the reality for most pirates was a grueling life at sea, usually ending in violent death or penal servitude. This reality check adds a layer of understanding about life during this period and how the circumstances led many to choose such a harsh way of life. Number 6. The inception and suppression of the Gregorian calendar. The calendar that most of the world uses today, known as the Gregorian calendar, was introduced by Pope Gregory XIII in 1582. It was a modification of the Julian calendar made to bring the date of the spring equinox closer to March 21st, the date it held at the time of the Council of Nicaea in 325. However, the new calendar was not readily accepted everywhere. The change was initially adopted mostly by Catholic countries, while Protestant and Orthodox countries viewed it with suspicion, suspecting a Catholic plot. Great Britain and its colonies, including the future United States, did not adopt the Gregorian calendar until 1752. In Russia, it was not adopted until after the Bolshevik Revolution in 1918. This led to a peculiar situation where different regions observed different dates at the same time. The history of the Gregorian calendar's implementation is a fascinating case of how scientific advancement can become entangled with religious and political skepticism, and how these factors can influence the acceptance of new systems and ideas. Number 7. Napoleon Bonaparte's height misconception. Common historical lore often portrays Napoleon Bonaparte, the famed French emperor, as being exceptionally short. However, this characterization is largely a result of a misunderstanding. Napoleon was reported to be 5 feet 2 inches tall at the time of his death, but this measurement was in French feet, pieds de roi, which are longer than English feet. In English measurements, Napoleon was approximately 5 feet 7 inches tall, which was actually slightly above average height for Frenchmen of his time. This misconception was further propagated by British caricatures of Napoleon, which often exaggerated his short stature as a form of ridicule. While a seemingly minor detail, this common misperception of Napoleon's height serves as a reminder of how biases and inaccuracies can become entrenched in historical narratives. Number 8. The hidden heritage of Mount Rushmore. Mount Rushmore, known for its giant carvings of 4 U.S. presidents, holds a lesser-known history. Before it became a symbol of American presidential legacy, the area was considered sacred by the Lakota Sioux Native American tribe and was known as the Six Grandfathers. In the Treaty of Fort Laramie in 1868, the U.S. government recognized the Black Hills, where Mount Rushmore is located, as part of the Great Sioux Reservation. However, the discovery of gold led to an influx of settlers, and the U.S. government did not uphold the treaty terms. The creation of Mount Rushmore is a contentious subject, highlighting the complex, often overlooked narratives of indigenous heritage, territorial rights, and national monuments. Number 9. The original purpose of the Great Wall of China. The Great Wall of China is often associated with the notion of keeping invaders, like the Mongols, out of China. However, its original purpose was not solely defensive. The wall was also a means of regulating trade along the Silk Road. During the reign of Emperor Qin Shi Huang around 221 BC, the existing walls were connected to control immigration and emigration and impose duties on goods. Guard stations and watchtowers along the wall served as customs posts, where taxes could be collected from traders. While the wall did have a military function, its role as a trade regulation mechanism reflects the complex interplay between security, economy, and state control in historical contexts. Number 10. The misunderstood role of Vikings. Vikings, often depicted as horned, helmet-wearing, brutal raiders from the north, are much more complex than the stereotype suggests. While Vikings did engage in raids, they were also traders, explorers, and settlers. The Viking Age, roughly from AD 800 to 1050, was a period of significant exploration, where Vikings reached as far as North America, well before Columbus. Also, archaeological findings show that Viking societies had a well-developed art style and engaged in farming and fishing when they weren't exploring or trading. The horned helmets, so commonly associated with Vikings, are a fabrication of 19th century Romanticism. Actual Viking helmets, as per archaeological findings, had no horns. Number 11. The history of ketchup. Ketchup, a staple in many households today, had very different beginnings. It didn't originate in the United States or have tomatoes as a primary ingredient. The original version was a Chinese concoction of pickled fish and spices known as ketchup. The sauce was discovered by British explorers in the 18th century, who took the idea back to Britain. The British version incorporated ingredients like mushrooms, walnuts, and oysters. Tomatoes were added only in the early 19th century by American cooks to create the ketchup we know today. This quirky culinary history illustrates the fluid nature of cultural exchanges and adaptations. Number 12. The Library of Alexandria and the Loss of Knowledge. The Library of Alexandria in ancient Egypt was one of the largest and most significant libraries of the ancient world. It boasted a vast collection of works, with estimates ranging from 40,000 to 400,000 scrolls. The Library of Alexandria was more than a large collection of scrolls. It was a symbol of knowledge and cultural unity. Established in the 3rd century BCE in Alexandria, Egypt, the library was one of the largest and most renowned centers of learning in the ancient world. It was a jewel of Hellenistic civilization, attracting scholars from around the Mediterranean who came to learn, write, and engage in scholarly discourse. At its peak, the library is believed to have housed hundreds of thousands of scrolls containing works on philosophy, history, mathematics, astronomy, and more. This vast store of knowledge made the library a nexus of intellectual progress, enabling cross-pollination of ideas and fostering advancements in various fields of study. However, history reveals a tragic fate for the library. It suffered multiple destructive events, including fires during Julius Caesar's civil war in 48 BCE and potential attacks during religious riots and conflicts in subsequent centuries. Each event led to the loss of countless irreplaceable scrolls. While the exact timeline and causes of the library's destruction remain subjects of debate among historians, it is agreed that the final blow came with the rise of the Christian Roman Empire and the subsequent decline of pagan institutions. The loss of the Library of Alexandria and its wealth of knowledge is one of the great tragedies of cultural history. We can only speculate on the contents of the lost scrolls and the potential knowledge that was erased. The library serves as a stark reminder of the impermanence of even the greatest cultural repositories, stressing the importance of preserving knowledge for future generations. However, the library suffered from several destructive events over centuries, including fires and attacks, leading to the loss of countless texts. The exact causes and periods of destruction remain subjects of historical debate. This catastrophic loss underlines the fragility of knowledge repositories and highlights the importance of preservation efforts. The library's destruction also symbolizes the irreplaceable intellectual heritage that was lost, including potentially unique works on philosophy, sciences, and arts. The story of the Library of Alexandria serves as a poignant reminder of both the thirst for knowledge and the devastating loss humanity can suffer with the destruction of such institutions. Number 14. The history of ancient Roman plumbing. One of the greatest engineering accomplishments of the Romans was their complex system of aqueducts and plumbing. Contrary to popular belief, Romans didn't actually invent the system, but they did perfect it, building vast networks of lead and stone pipes, sewers, and aqueducts. The Romans were pioneers in developing sophisticated systems for public health and sanitation, often lauded as one of their most significant contributions to civilization. The Roman system of plumbing was incredibly advanced for its time, a testament to their exceptional engineering skills. The aqueducts, an impressive feature of Roman architecture, were monumental structures designed to transport water from sources sometimes miles away into cities and towns. Rome itself was supplied by 11 aqueducts that provided water for public baths, fountains, and private households. This water supply was crucial not only for drinking, but also for maintaining public sanitation. The Romans also constructed extensive sewage systems, including the famous Cloaca Maxima, one of the world's earliest sewage systems. It drained waste into the Tiber River, significantly improving public health by reducing disease spread through contaminated water. Interestingly, despite these advancements, the Romans had a somewhat misguided understanding of health risks associated with sanitation. They used lead pipes in their plumbing systems, unaware of the harmful effects of lead poisoning. Some historians have even speculated that this widespread lead use might have contributed to the empire's decline. Overall, the Roman plumbing system represents an early, impressive attempt at a public works system and greatly influenced later developments in urban infrastructure and public health. However, it also provides an important lesson on the unintended consequences of technological advancements, given their use of lead in water pipes. These advancements enabled the Romans to have public baths, indoor plumbing, and a relatively effective sewage system, contributing to improved public health. However, there were downsides to this progress. The use of lead pipes has led some historians and scientists to speculate that lead poisoning could have been a contributing factor to the decline of the Roman Empire. Number 15. The accidental invention of the microwave. The invention of the microwave oven was a serendipitous event in the history of technology. In 1945, Percy Spencer, an engineer at Raytheon, was working on magnetron devices for radar systems. He noticed that a candy bar in his pocket melted while he was near the devices, leading him to investigate this anomaly. The microwave, a common household appliance today, has an unexpectedly dramatic origin story that illustrates the role of serendipity in scientific discovery and innovation. The invention of the microwave oven was not the result of targeted research, but rather a happy accident. It was during the height of World War II that an engineer named Percy Spencer, working at Raytheon, a company dedicated to the development of defense and aerospace technologies, stumbled upon this discovery. In 1945, Spencer was working on a project related to radar technology. Raytheon was a leader in the production of magnetrons, devices that generate high-frequency radio waves, crucial components of radar systems. While working on these devices, Spencer had a peculiar experience. He noticed that a candy bar in his pocket had melted, a result, he realized, of exposure to the microwaves produced by the magnetron. Intrigued by this event, Spencer decided to investigate further. He placed popcorn kernels near the magnetron and observed as they quickly popped. Next, he tried with an egg, which ended up exploding in the face of one of his colleagues due to the rapid heating. These experiments confirmed that microwaves emitted by the magnetron could cook food quickly, leading to the concept of microwave cooking. This discovery was revolutionary. Raytheon, recognizing the potential of this unexpected finding, applied for a patent for the microwave cooking process in 1945. The first commercially produced microwave oven, dubbed the Radarange, was released in 1947. However, its adoption was initially limited due to its large size and high cost. It was only with subsequent improvements in technology, which allowed for smaller and more affordable models, that the microwave oven became a standard appliance in households across the world. Spencer discovered that microwave radiation, which the devices were emitting, could heat food quickly. Raytheon patented the technology, and in 1947, the first commercial microwave oven, standing nearly 6 feet tall and weighing 750 pounds, was introduced. It's a testament to the unforeseen possibilities that can arise in the world of scientific research. Number 16. Cleopatra's true roots. Cleopatra VII, the last active ruler of the Ptolemaic Kingdom of Egypt, is often depicted as an exotic Egyptian beauty. However, Cleopatra was not ethnically Egyptian, but rather of Macedonian Greek descent, a lineage tracing back to Ptolemy I, a general of Alexander the Great who became the ruler of Egypt after Alexander's death. Cleopatra, unlike many of her Ptolemaic predecessors, actually embraced Egyptian culture and was reportedly the first to learn the Egyptian language. She is an intriguing figure who blended her Hellenistic roots with Egyptian traditions, underscoring the complexities of cultural identity in historical contexts. Number 17. The unexpected origins of the English language. English, now a global lingua franca, has a surprisingly diverse and complex history. Originating from a fusion of languages and dialects, known as Old English or Anglo-Saxon, its roots can be traced back to the 5th and 6th century Germanic tribes, the Angles, Saxons, and Jutes, who invaded Britain. However, English as we know it began to take shape in the late 11th century following the Norman conquest of England. The Normans brought with them Old Norman or Old French, which greatly influenced the English vocabulary, especially words related to the arts, law, and governance. In subsequent centuries, English continued to borrow heavily from Latin, Greek, and other languages. Furthermore, the colonization and trade practices of the British Empire exposed English to numerous languages worldwide, leading to further borrowing and influence. It's intriguing to realize how much of English, both its vocabulary and grammar, is a mosaic of different languages. Its evolution exemplifies how language is not an isolated entity, but a dynamic, evolving phenomenon that reflects historical, cultural, and social interactions over time. Number 18. Christopher Columbus's geographical misunderstanding. Christopher Columbus is widely known for his 1492 voyage, often incorrectly credited as the discovery of the Americas. However, Columbus set sail believing that he could reach Asia by traveling westward from Europe. His calculations were based on miscalculations about the Earth's size, greatly underestimating its circumference. When Columbus arrived in the Caribbean, he believed he had reached the East Indies, hence why the indigenous people he encountered were misnamed Indians. It was only later, during Amerigo Vespucci's explorations, that the concept of the New World began to circulate. Columbus's misconception reveals that even monumental historical events can stem from errors. It also underscores how these errors, once propagated, can shape perceptions and narratives for centuries, as exemplified by the continued usage of the term Indian to describe Native American populations. Number 19. Benjamin Franklin's love for the turkey. Among the many facets of Benjamin Franklin's intriguing character was his appreciation for the turkey. In a letter to his daughter, Franklin expressed his preference for the turkey over the bald eagle as a national symbol for the United States. He saw the turkey as a bird of courage that would not hesitate to attack a grenadier of the British Guards. While it's often incorrectly stated that Franklin wanted the turkey to be the national bird, he did indeed have a distinct admiration for it. This unusual story serves to humanize a towering figure in history and reminds us that personal idiosyncrasies can often intersect with official narratives. Number 20. The misinterpretations of the Statue of Liberty. The Statue of Liberty, an iconic symbol of freedom and democracy, is often associated with immigration, primarily due to its location near Ellis Island, a historic point of entry for immigrants. However, the statue was originally intended to represent liberty enlightening the world, with its torch signifying enlightenment and the tablet bearing the date of American independence. The statue was a gift from France to the United States, marking the centennial of American independence and celebrating the friendship between the two nations. The association with immigration became popularized through Emma Lazarus's poem, The New Colossus, inscribed on the statue's pedestal, which characterizes the statue as the Mother of Exiles. The fascinating journey through these little-known historical facts underscores how our understanding of history can often be shaped by misconceptions, exaggerations, or overlooked details. This exploration serves as a reminder to view historical narratives with a discerning eye, acknowledging their complexities and layers. It emphasizes that history is not merely a static record of the past, but a dynamic narrative constantly subject to reinterpretation and re-examination. As we continue to learn, may we retain our curiosity and open-mindedness, fostering a richer, deeper appreciation of the world's shared past.